Clouds. All right. So we're here to look on what we have done so far for Water for People. And David, if you don't mind going on mute for until you have a question, because we have a noise coming from. Oh, I can do it. Never mind. Okay. So we are going to review today the new SharePoint site for Water for People, sharepoint.waterforpeople.org. That is hosted on Amazon, and we're going to look at the PLL portion side of the site. Another one is MIS. We're going to look at it, review it later when Kate is back from vacation, probably on August 9th. We'll do it. I think she's back on 7th, so 8th or 9th I'll set up a meeting. So today we're going to look at the landing pages, basic common landing page, home, Water for People, and then parallel branch of it, and we'll have different lists and views on how to see the data. We'll look at the form on how to add new resource in, and we can even say in English and Spanish. And we have only English version to request a new resource, new program documentation. And the main form, it has 16 drop downs, and to make it easier to maintain for Water for People folks, they can go into list standalone objects that are feeding the drop downs, 16 of them. We have quite a few items that are not resolved. Reference to translated resources. If you have a resource in English and you have a copy of translated into Spanish, how do we link them together? We have identifier, but we do not have a clickable link yet. Still working on it with Microsoft, how to make it happen. Saving copy of document PDF. When you create a resource, you attach it to a form, and it is stored in specific location outside of the common repositories that Hamad had migrated from previous locations that you had, around 500 documents. And then there are some Microsoft-specific problems with when you go into subsites. So you have a root site and you have a subsite. When you go into subsite, the image on the page automatically points to a subsite directory, and we want to point it to the root. And I'll explain in details. And we had this wonderful document that tells you, okay, I want things to be in this flow. I want to be able to have a landing page. I want to be able to filter, search, browse. So filter and search is not presented in a way that Ellen wanted it to be, like not in this kind of way, because we were mostly struggling with basic functionality. And the form is also not in the same format, but there are some things that we didn't deliver as it was requested, and that's it's casualties of life. It's the way it is. So we'll have to deal with it later. So the landing page is this one. So you go into SharePoint.waterforpeople.org, and this is a landing page. And any file here in this directory that has this Water for People sign, it will point to, if you can see at the bottom here, it will point to Water for People. So if we go to Sanitation MIS, for example, we're not going to go through it, but just wanted to get your attention here. So it points to MIS. And that's not what we want for MIS. we wanted to any sign that has logo, any page that has logo, it should point to the home root page, which is this one. So program learning library, we parted in the same directory as in a root directory, so it is pointing to root whatever people's site, if per se. So there are two ways to get to PL program learning library from home pages, either from the menu or from here. And if we were to park this program learning library in a sub-site, we couldn't get back to root from here. So this is where the documents are residing. Common directory, what I called, that was migrated from previous locations that you had in your other instance. Okay, so we are here, program learning library. What do we have? We have basically three major developed pages. Is one of them is PLL resource list, one of them is add new PLL resource, and one request new program documentation. So we library resources, add new resource, request a resource, tables that are feeding data. So we are going to look at PLL resource list first. And default view, we call it all items. It is all changeable. We can change it to any views that we want. We have some other views that some of the troubleshooting that I can delete or Ellen can delete when she likes. And we can also modify the views to fit our needs. So we have also views to upload data from Excel, and I can do a little demo on how it is. Ellen, do you want to do a demo how upload works, or?
I don't know if only. I was just talking to Hamad this morning. There's still the error message, so I wasn't able to upload anything.
The same error that tells you nothing?
That we saw on Friday. Yeah.
Oh, that is so unfortunate. So in original development, when we had, you upload data, and it's possible that since product type has pointed to a table with predefined values, it's possible that we pass in different values. So it would tell you, okay, the error is in this column, and you could fix it, or it wouldn't take name that doesn't exist in directory. So after this looks into directory, or some other errors that make sense that you can resolve. But in the latest development that we have is we don't.
I'm not sure if we need to demo, because this is like just a very temporary way of adding resources.
Okay,
and I'm the only one who will be doing this. Usually I'll just be using the form. Yeah.
Yeah, and the interesting part is it throws you error, says you cannot save it, but then you go out and it saves it, right?
It was not doing that this morning. But I'll work on it offline with Hamad.
Okay.
Yeah, it looks like it's a validation error.
Yeah, but hey, Hamad, but validation error usually points to a column, like what's wrong, right? What the error is.
Okay.
All right, so now my go to edit mode doesn't want to go into edit mode. So we're going to here, and we'll go to edit from here. So if we want to edit item, any of the items, why it's not coming up? let me restart my browser. Something is not right. Yeah, and one of the things that okay, now it's coming up as soon as I shut it down. Okay, one of the things that you learn about Microsoft that if something doesn't work, restarting browser usually helps. Okay. So we are going to order for people, and we're going to program learning library, and we're going to PLL resource list, and we're going to look. Okay, it says waiting for response, right? At the bottom, does it? Interesting. Okay, so there are three states to look at the three states that we have for any of the items. Okay, so it's coming up, it just takes time. Okay, you can look at the, I'll show you in a form. So we have add English, add new. So there's, and pardon for the scaling, it does it in a very interesting way. So you can add new resource with English labels, or you can do it in Spanish, with Spanish labels. And you also have two views for edit and two views for display. Okay, so that just, and that's what you see here. Right now, we're looking in English version. Okay, labels are in English. You can switch to Spanish labels or in edit mode, or you can switch to Espanol, Spanish display mode. And the name of the labels, I know, Ellen, you said change it to something that would be in Spanish, and I'll do it after this meeting. Okay, so right now we're looking at the edit form, PLL resource. We forgot to define the country. Yes, let's define the country. Okay, it's in most likely in Guatemala, Cochabamba. And then we can change number of pages, we can change description. Product type is also something that is in a driven table. It can only be one of these values here. Region, Latin America, country, Bolivia. Okay, so it's Bolivia. We have Bolivia here. No, so we'll call it finance. Okay. So, by the way, there's three sets of geographies. They're kind of, one is dependent on another. So we have three regions: Africa, Asia, and Latin America, and global one. So if you go into and select one of them regions, then the set of countries is populated based on this region, and then corresponding districts that exist only in that particular country. Overall, it's stable geography, and it has, I think it has around 60 entries total. Then we have program topic that is automatically translated into Spanish version, and we have, just in case, topic 2 and topic 3. We have language, geography level, also driven by table, object, program level. Yes, let's define. Ellen, is that okay? I'm playing with this, your item.
Yep, I'll upload everything new once.
Okay. And we have a list of partners. We can select more than one. I probably should start it with creating a new one and play with that. Again, here you can also select more than one. values, and we also have a list that is controlled outside this page. You can request to add a tag for particular category, and you can also use some of these attributes to say, okay, if it is part of collection, then collection name field comes up. Then you can define it's my collection. And if you say no, I changed my mind, then it goes away. That was a requirement. And resource, is this resource in a sanitation MIS? If I say yes, it'll ask you for URL where you can park URL to resource. MIS, basically it's a link, right? It's a link. And the same for translation requests. If you request translation, you need to provide how you're going to use it. Okay. And if you want to share it externally, similarly, you need to provide purpose of sharing externally. And there you can attach a file, and it basically points you to the physical location on your hard drive. Okay, but you can also attach URL for streaming videos or whatever else you have there. URL to stream video, and this is, we call it temp file location, but I think we repurposed it for something else.
We just need to remove that.
Or we can remove this field altogether. And this is internal primary key for this document, and we have two documents. One is translated in the Spanish, one is in English. Then we can create a reference, and that is expected to be a link, just a URL where you click and you go to a translated version for this document. And that is something that we do not have yet done, and it's kind of open with Microsoft. And we'll see if we get a solution in the next week or two. Okay, and then you submit. Similarly, if you switch to Espanol, the labels are in Spanish. Yep, that's where we're at. So that was a new resource, and you can also request a resource, and you go back to, and you can request a resource. And there's so far it's only one field is mandatory, title, request title, and you can also attach documents here. You can select country, program. You can type in description, provide topic, product type, region, country, and which language it is, and if you're willing to help, yes or no, drop down. And collaborators is someone you can pick from Active Directory. So if I say Alan, and go check how many Alans we have, and you, all right, we have Alan Witt here. Okay, so let's submit one of the form. Request title, request, and that'll be for business development. And let's attach file. Okay, and description. And the topic will be forever. Product type is case study. Region, Africa. Let's help Africa. And we have 3 countries that we're supporting in Africa. It's filtered out by geo or region, language, and yes, I'm willing to help, and collaborator Alan. So let's submit. And where are we going? We're going to list of requests already submitted. Okay, so we're going back here, and I say, okay, I want to add new. Add new, and basically this is where you start. And we have quite a few fields that should be mandatory, and when we stop working on this form, I can make it mandatory. At this point, only this field mandatory, because we're doing some testing, and basically I can make mandatory fields as needed here, right, as described here. So at this point, only one field is mandatory, so we can. Okay, so this is to add. What else we didn't cover? Tables with data. Okay, so if I don't know, Ellen is the audience here. We'll be maintaining the values in the 16 tables. Yeah, so if you go to site content, and every time you see table underscore something, and it actually is driven something. So let's look at table geography. This is what controls values in district, country, and region drop down. If I was to, or let's go one by one. Country, program, department. Where is that coming from? It's called table country. And we go back here. All right, do we have table? Table country program. Okay, table country program. Okay. And we have two columns, one in English, one is Spanish. And if you were to add any new value here, like you say new, it will show up as new demo. It will show up in new form. Okay, so right now it's not here, right? Why? Because it loaded before we added a new value. So if we say here, let's go back here and let's say add new. So country, new demo is right here. Okay, and then like, oh, I made a mistake, I don't want it. Okay, so you can go back and say delete item. Everybody got an idea what I mean by driving table, right? And then some of you are on mute, but I feel that my point is understood. Okay, so resource title is free type in form, up to 256 characters. Outer is driven by Active Directory, Water for People Active Directory. So if I say Ahmad, and I can say just check with Ahmad here, and I move the mouse. Okay, there he is. So, and date is a calendar. And subject matters also points to Active Directory. So, Alan, and I can have more than one here. You can say, okay, Alan. Kate is also subject matter expert here. I can add. Oh, we have more than one. Kate, alright, Kate, so there it is. And you define page length and the description. And again, product type is another table. So it is, where would it be? It would be in, let's go. All right, which one are we looking at? Product type. So it'll be table, product type. Table, product type over here. Okay. Again, it has English and Spanish counterpart. So when I save it in English, it is also saved in Spanish version as well. So we'll see how it works. Region, okay, and this time it's in Latin America, and we have different set of countries in Latin America, which would be Bolivia, Peru. So we go to Nicaragua, and Nicaragua has, I believe it has 2 districts. Yes, I know it's cold in Norte, I was told. Okay, so we'll go with one program topic. So we'll go water. Okay, English, geography level. Also derived, any drop downs that you see is derived in one of these tables here. Okay, inside content. So community, people, and you can select more than one. And all this here is done. Okay, and we can also play with this, but we will just save it for now like that. Okay, let's see where the error is. Oh, title. Yes. Yes. Again, at this point, only title is required for in this form, but once I turn it, before I turn it over to Hamad, I will make everything as required here with red stars here. Okay, so let's see what we have here. Submit. And where are you? Over here. This is our title. Demo title. So for some reason I cannot drill into it right now, so go here. Okay, and what do we here? This is our form that we submitted, what we populated. Okay, so if I go back and if I go into edit, it's coming. I saw this, it's waiting. I don't know how much, it's kind of taking time to load the form. I wonder why. So if we were to switch to Spanish version, we should see product type in Spanish. And you can see that it was in English, and now it also in English and Spanish. Okay, and we can go to Espanol display, and there you, in display mode, you basically cannot edit anything. You can just look at it, even so it looks like you can, but that's how Microsoft tells you that you cannot edit. Nothing is selectable here. And if you, for some reason, you prefer to go back to English, you can. Okay. And similarly, you can go back to Espanol. So where are we? Tables. Is everybody clear with the tables concept? We don't have to go through each table, but we could if you'd like. So I think the biggest table here is, and you can see number of items in each table. Which one had 59? Okay, table PLL program topic. That is, it has 59 items in it. So, do we have any questions? Have I lost everyone?
I think no. I think the biggest thing for me is that David, who's on our IT team, and Hamad understand like the backend functionality from a SharePoint admin perspective, so that they can kind of pick up where you're leaving off. So as long as they're good to go.
And Hamad, Microsoft allows you to develop forms within browser, but to have this functionality where you switch between English, we auto-populate Spanish based on English, we're using InfoPath here, where we define rules for some of the fields. And I suggest you install InfoPath, and I can walk you through to the extent that I know what we're doing here. Hamad?
David and Hamad, are you guys okay with this? Are you familiar with InfoPath?
David, I put you on mute, okay. And Hamad, unmute. Okay, I cannot unmute Hamad. Hamad, you have to do it yourself. But David, you were on mute if you were speaking. Can you hear me now? Can you say something?
Let me try and Skype David. I won't be able to get a hold of Hamad.
Here we go.
All right.
I'm using my phone. I'm technologically challenged. All right. What was the question? I'm sorry that I was doing like four things at the same time, and I missed that last part.
The last part, if you see my screen, basically any changes that you'd like to introduce in this form, it has to be done in InfoPath. So, for example, okay. If you were like you follow the logic on how to add values to drop downs, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so you basically go to some to tables. You go to site content, and each of the drop downs where you see table, category, table, countries, tables, funders, and so on and so on. You go here and you add it. Now, when you go into program learning library, if you want to edit the list, the form itself, right? You go to form settings. It'll ask you want to use it in InfoPath, and we are using the InfoPath to do changes here because you can define rules on rules. Yeah. And so on and so on. So if you're not familiar with InfoPath, we can have a meeting. I can walk you through. It's free for downloads, free for use. It's kind of old version. They didn't release anything after this release, and I think it's 2013. So they might stop supporting it in a couple of years, but it is the only tool that's available. There's also SharePoint Designer, but for forms, we were using InfoPath. Okay.
Okay. Yeah, I'm familiar with InfoPath.
Okay.
I have used it in the past, so yeah, I know what you're talking about. Perfect.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay. And any other list except for program learning library? Everything else you can edit in. There are in program learning library, we have 2 forms that are maintained in InfoPath. Everything else you can maintain in browser itself. You don't need to open it in InfoPath. Okay, so program learning library and request new program, those are basically designed in InfoPath.
Okay. Yep, makes sense.
And InfoPath, it's, when you open it in InfoPath, at first it'll ask you for password. It asks you 2 to 3 times. So it's okay. I mean, that's how Microsoft made it to work. So don't be surprised. All right. Do we have any other questions?
All right, can you open the InfoPath forum right one more time for me, please? Just real quick, I just want to see something.
So this is InfoPath form PLL resource, and this is InfoPath request new program documentation.
And you mentioned something about the password. Why we should be getting the password from?
Why didn't ask for a password?
Yeah.
Because I have session open here, right?
Okay.
So this is session I have open, but if I had it closed and if I wanted to open it, let's see. So I go to content, request new program documentation, list. I go to settings. I go to form settings. Okay. There it's asking you for a password once. And again, and you can check this box anytime you want. It doesn't do anything. So are we gonna get through with 2 passwords? Sometimes it asks
Something related. That's something related with the credential manager or something like that, or?
It is just the way it is. It works in our SharePoint instance, and I was told that there is nothing you can do. You just have to accept it. Okay. So there are some things with Microsoft that you have to take. This is the way it is, and yeah. But if you would like to troubleshoot it with Microsoft, most likely they'll tell you, "Oh, this is an old product. We had a bug, blah blah." Okay. So, but once you have it open, right, and you go into bring up any other form, then will not ask you again once you have a session open in InfoPath. So, yeah.
Ellen, are you there?
She's there.
Yep, I'm here.
Yeah. Can you make a note on that InfoPath password and then send it to me after the meeting? Just maybe we can look at that.
Okay.
Okay, so do we have any other questions?
Not on my end.
Okay.
David, oh, go ahead, Kelly.
I just have a question that's probably already worked out, but I was curious with any of the pick lists and the tables, can you ever select multiple options? So if you were to select a region and then you were writing a report on Guatemala and Honduras only, could you select 2 countries, or in that case you just leave it blank and keep it regional? I'm just curious about the option of selecting multiple.
Ellen, this is for your question, but I can answer it the way it was programmed, that you can select only one country. You can select global.
Okay.
But then global is global. You cannot select 2 countries. So if you were to select like Latin America, then you're limited to countries in Latin America, and only one selection is available.
Okay.
Yeah, so you would leave it at the region and then put that in the description.
Yeah.
But you can choose 3 program topics, and then when it comes to partners and funders, you can choose multiple.
Okay.
Yes, and where it says here where you have more than one selection, you can. It's in the form of checkboxes here.
Right. That's okay.
That's how it was designed basically. So
Yeah, and that makes sense.
okay, we still have time for more questions.
David, do you have, are you on the Slack channel or have we not added you? Can't remember.
I don't think we
Yeah.
did.
No, I think I'm not. Anyway, I will need to check the software, go into the site, and check the usability, all that, to get more familiar with, since I'm been out of the
I wouldn't look
focus.
too far into the usability because we're not there yet.
But go ahead. Ellen.
Well, I was just gonna say, if we can add David to Slack, then I've got a running list of sort of the more key outstanding items. And then I'm not sure if it would be Autodesk at this point or Hamad or David who would be picking those up, but I'll put them in Slack just in case any of these are on Autodesk list, and then what the things are that we would need to wrap up on our end. And then there's going to be a whole body of work on the usability.
Just send it to me. We copy to Hamad, and I can assign whatever Hamad can do. And then if the other parts I can do, or we need the developer for it, we can talk.
Okay, and then there's some things that are on my list. And Hamad, are you still on?
Hamad was rebooting. He just sent me a message. Something happened to his computer. He rebooted. He got disconnected, but I think he's trying to connect again.
Okay, my biggest roadblock right now is being able to upload
Upload. Okay.
the resources using the list instead of the form.
Okay.
So I'm hamstrung by that at the moment.
Yeah. Okay. So if you have it on the list, put it first. Like it's a priority first, second, third, and we'll give that priority to it. If you can take a snapshot of the area you're trying to upload, and
Yes, I did that.
Yeah. Okay. We can look into it.
Okay.
I'll have him look into it.
All right, Ellen, if you can send me email of David, I will add him to Slack as well.
Okay, I'll just put it in the chat.
Yep. And at this point, I can pause recording or stop recording.
Well, so I guess, David, do you feel like you've got a good enough idea of like how to make changes in here? And once we have a UI UX person, how to direct them? Because like Autodesk had to make a lot of kind of customizations and workarounds.
Yeah. Well, definitely, I will need to review this recording. If this recording is going to be handed out to us, that'll be great, because I need to review a couple of things, and then from that point, I maybe set some time aside, either today afternoon or tomorrow, to review that. Go over that in another meeting with Hamad and you, Alan, if possible, and address those concerns that you have. And then we can start from there.
Okay, and I know Hamad was working on, we had some questions about user access and some issues when we tried to give Steve Sugden access, so hopefully you'll be able to log in. I'm not sure if that's been resolved.
Sorry. I had some problem with my audio device. Are you able to hear me now?
Yes.
Yep. There's a couple concerns, Hamad, that Ellen brought up, like uploading from the list. Can you elaborate a little bit, Ellen, to Hamad, so that way he can hear that too?
We've got it all in email. We just
Okay.
resolved. Yeah. I guess, Hamad, since you've been tracking on this, I think because we're about to wrap up, the biggest thing is if you've got a solid understanding of how we can make changes to resolve the outstanding issues and finish some of our functionality needs before we turn it over to UI UX.
Yeah, I will check the file that you have shared with me, try to upload in this, and we'll share actually what is causing the issue. It's related to the validation, but I will check what is causing. Where your concern about the first column, you wanted to see the added resource. So this is the customizable link. I will definitely add it as well. And where the list search is pending, it's I'm getting a lot of errors for the list search only, where it gives me the message that this object has been moved. So I'm trying to see. I also engaged here for the Microsoft, but they were keep asking me that if you have moved the site from one from like to from the root side to another side, so this error only throws when. But I'm trying to figure out actually why this creating a problem for us only for the list search.
Okay. Well, I was just saying too that I'll put all the outstanding items, that's some of them. I'll put the list of all of them in Slack, and then we can figure out between Autodesk and you and David who should be doing what.
Okay.
So David, Ellen, can I interrupt for a second?
Yeah, I'm putting the final list in there now. That's
Okay.
an outdated version.
David, do you see my screen?
Yep, I can see it.
Okay, so I had Excel with data from Ellen. I copy columns basically from beginning to the end, just one row, okay? And then I go here and I Control V, select this bottom corner and do Control V, and it asks you allow access to clipboard. And if some of the values are do not exist on the list, like infography, it tells you, hey, this is not on the list. So select one from the list. Okay.
But
And
that's not the issue.
right. This is like issue that makes sense that you can deal with, right? So I'm gonna change it to some that exist. I'm gonna see anything else is red. The answer is no. So we're good. And I go in and say stop editing this list, and it took it. Ellen?
Yeah, this isn't the issue. I just sent the new list in Slack and Hamad.
Right. So yesterday, Ellen and I, or was it Friday, we had an issue with that the error is not really, does not make sense at all, right? And that was kind of strange that if it points you to the problem, then you can resolve it, right? But if it just error so let me do it again. I select the bottom left and I do Control V, and it says allow access to clipboard, yes. So 2 rows should go in. Okay, this is the error that Ellen was talking about. It just makes no, oh. Okay, so what is it? What is the column here? Program topic. Huh. Or system. Now that's a new value that doesn't exist in the list. So let's change it here. Everything else seems to be okay. So Alan, maybe it was Friday, or you said
I was doing it again
today as well.
We'll work it out. Yeah.
Yeah, but keep in mind, restarting browsers helps in some cases. Like
yeah. The one thing while Hamad and David are here, we didn't look at that intermediate screen at all, and that's something that we need to get in the right place and open when we're clicking on the right links, because that's something that's not flowing correctly now. So I want to make sure they know what that is and how to make changes to it.
Okay. So while we're on the subject, intermediate screen that Alan is talking about is this one. No. This one. So I am going to make this as The default. And I'm gonna publish it. And it'll take probably a whole minute to publish. And we're supposed to get a message when it's published successfully. Okay, there you are. And now we're going back here and I say, okay. Doing something? No, it just took me to display. So let's stop. This is the intermediate screen. From here, you can go into one of the views: English add new, English edit, display, similarly in Espanol. So what do we want to do from here? Let's see.
Well, we'll need to edit this so that it works the way we want it to. So I just want to make sure David and Hamad understand how it works so that we can edit it. Because we should be seeing the option to edit or display in English or Spanish when you click on a resource, but not add new. And when you go to add a new resource, you're just getting the form. So putting this in the right place. And Hamad sort of came up with that workaround with that new edit column, but this screen itself needs to be edited. So I just want to make sure they know how to find it and how to make changes.
Okay.
So you said the English edit is the one that should be working, Ellen. It's not the English add new.
Yes, Ellen wants this button to be removed from here.
Well,
Okay.
yeah, when the three of us meet later this week, I can explain the flow
Okay.
that we want, but I just want to make sure that they even knew like that this existed and how to like access it and how to make changes.
Hamad, are you there? Hamad?
Yes, I am. Yeah, I knew that what she was talking about. She want me to add in this display in added screen.
Okay. Are you familiar with it?
And this is the views that we're talking about, and now we're looking at default parallel, but these are the other views that are available within this form. Okay, and we're out of time, so any last questions?
I think eventually we'll need to figure out these things, Ellen. We will need to, and obviously with Hamad and yeah, basically take care of those issues. But on my end, I don't have any question unless you have. Are you feeling comfortable with what we have? I mean, we can keep providing support to it.
Was that for Hamad?
Are you muted, Hamad?
No, I think it's for all.
Oh, I thought it was for Hamad. Could you repeat the question, please?
Hey, David.
I guess that's the question I want to make sure, like Hamad and David, do you have what you need to make sure that from an IT perspective, we can keep supporting this?
Yeah, definitely. We can do it. Not the development, but definitely we can support the system.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like everything else, right? every new tool that we add, any new site, we need to get familiar. As soon as we get familiar with it, everything will run more smoothly to it. But aside that, there's nothing out of this world to support this. It's just something that we need to get familiar with it. So, and then aside that, we need to find the SharePoint developer so that we can finish the other touches. Maybe that he have other suggestions also that we can implement that maybe make things easier or fix some issues. So.
Okay, great. And then Oleg, I know you guys are wrapping up, and you mentioned doing this similar walkthrough for the sanitation MIS on the 8th or the 9th. And so David, Hamad, and I need to get together to run through our outstanding things and let them get familiar with the system. But if we have any questions that are dependent on Autodesk, then we will definitely try to get those to you well before the 8th or 9th. So you guys can wrap up once and for all.
Yeah. Just my main concern, so Hamad, do we have all the access needed for it? You have all that, right?
Yeah, I do have access to SharePoint server and everything. We just need to purchase the license for SharePoint because it's going to be ending soon. It's a trial edition, so we need to buy a license, David, for this.
Okay, perfect. Can you shoot me an email real quick with that so that way I can buy it today?
Sure.
And so that way thank you.
Great. Well, thank you so much, Oleg. And well, I'll follow up on Slack, and we'll get ready for the sanitation MIS run through. And sorry for keeping you a few minutes over.
No, that's okay. And David and Hamad, I'm going on vacation like after mid-August. So if you have any questions, I'm more than willing to help you, and I will try to resolve as many things as we can in transition period. Yeah, please pin me on Slack if you have any outstanding questions, and if not, we'll talk again on
Tomorrow.
Tomorrow. I'll be waiting. Does David have an invite? Did you forward the invite to David?
I will do it. Yeah.
Super.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you. I'm stopping recording now.
All right.
Thanks
Thank you.
So much,